Please exit to your left by stepping away from the cars with your left foot first. Step out and stand on the moving platform, please.
Please exit by stepping away from the cars with your left foot first. Step out and stand on the moving platform, please.
Hello, everybody, and happy Saturday. Welcome to Disney Night Live. Oh, what happened to Jay?
I think we're missing one.
There he is. I keep clicking him. Sorry, Jay.
We keep hitting the same button at the same time.
I'm so sorry.
That was actually me. I was just trying to keep you out. That's all.
Oh, yeah, of course Alan was.
Hey, Kim.
Hi, Kim. Hi, everybody in the chat. Happy Saturday. Disney Night Live coming straight to you here. We have a very special guest. We're really excited for this. Sports and entertainment artist, Kevin John. Welcome to Disney Night Live.
Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is really exciting.
Glad to have you.
Yeah,
very.
We are.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and before we went live, Kevin John and I did a test to make sure everything was working on his side. And I told him, usually we only have like 3 people on the show, but you guys were like arguing because he was on tonight and you wanted to be here. So we have a full house, which is really exciting.
But I wanted to just show off a little bit, because if you peek right over my shoulder, this beautiful Mary right here is by this gentleman right here.
Yeah, which is awesome. You got the pointing. There you go.
I got it for once.
You got it.
A lot of practicing.
Yeah, it's not easy. See, like I'm trying to point at Jay, and so
no.
I'm just staying out of it. I'm letting you guys do it just in case.
I'm still sharing us out. I'm sorry. I'm always so behind on the group shares and getting us out. But Lisa, what's going on tonight? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to have you here.
She's happy to be
Donald says, hello, humans.
That's Mr. Donald. What's going on, my friend Donald? He's been checking in on me all week.
He spelled Jay's name wrong, but he said Jay Smells.
Oh, we should probably let Kevin John know that if we say somebody smells on the show, it's just like a little thing we do. It's because we love you, and we just have this whole thing. We're like, oh, you smell.
All right, we got it. All right.
Yeah.
It's kind of our thing.
Monsters Inc. ground floor here.
Drinking game or something.
I wish. I've not had a drink all week with COVID, so I've been down for the count. And I'm fueling up on Gatorade tonight. I don't know if I could say that. Maybe they're going to be a sponsor one day.
I'm fueling up on sports drink.
That's right, sports drink.
I never drank when we did the show because Luce lives 6 ships, and I'm very chatty.
You're chatty, Kathy.
I am deeply chatty when you get me going.
I always just assumed that you were drinking, Jay.
Yeah, I know. It seems like it. Lisa's no comment. Let's dive right into our sponsor stuff, and then let's start to then get into stuff with Kevin John here and talk about what he's got going on and take a look at some of his work that we can share. So I don't know, Jay, do you feel like floating a monorail? We can do a deal of the week, maybe?
I have it holding it right above the water. Are you guys ready? I'm just going to drop it.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Drop it.
It all flows here.
Grab it like it's hot. my goodness, I am so excited for this deal. And I want to pull up our promo code because we cannot forget that we have a promo code here, our first promo code ever from our friends at dvc-rental.com for this deal of the week. What do we got here? We have an Animal Kingdom Villas, Kidani Village, Deluxe Studio Standard View. Check-in is a little over a month from now, July 9th through July 14th, the total number of 5 nights. This room's going to sleep 4 people plus 1 infant, so please remember if you have 2 infants, you have to leave 1 at home. You can only fit 1 in the room. And this room is a total cost of $1,846 for the 5 nights. This is an amazing deal. Again, plus you got the code NTD50 here. That'll save you $50 off the reservation. So it's actually under $1,800 if you were to use that promo code at checkout with dvc-rental.com.
You know what, Dave? Scott is watching. Scott is watching. Hang on, Scott.
Call him up.
I know.
You know his number.
No. I do know. Don't worry. I got Scott on speed dial. He's speed dial number 2.
Poor Scott.
But I'm gonna add something to make this deal even sweeter.
Better than the promo code?
Better than the promo code.
Yeah.
I am there that week.
Oh wow! Oh, he's laughing in the comments too. By the way, Scott, he's saying,
"Oh, I am actually there that week." So whoever buys it, I'll give them like an autographed picture or something of me.
Of you, yeah, just
of
Alan,
me. Just
right?
me.
And you'll sign it like "With love from Alan." P.S. You smell.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. I love it.
Yes.
All right.
You
Cool.
said don't sign it. Go to Kinko's, get a stamp made of your signature and what you want to say, and just boom.
That's it.
All impersonal.
That is
There we
it.
go.
Please get in touch with Scott at dvc-rental.com for that deal of the week.
Hey Dave, since Alan's gonna be there, if you, me, KJ, and Lisa took that deal before our NTD discount, $461. $461.
That's it.
For 5 nights.
Right. And we could find an infant to bring just to make up for the +1, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
But what
I mean, it's nothing at this
One.
point. Right.
I mean, we could tell them that Kim's an infant, right?
She would pass as one.
Yeah.
I hate when I get those comments. What are you, her father? So funny. That's
That's another show.
I'm so glad that's another show. I'm so glad she's not on tonight.
Maybe we'll
Boring.
go for this tonight.
Let's go over to our friends at dmagicworld.com, 24/7 streaming Disney magic music. They're our friends. They play snippets of our show on certain days of the week, and in turn, we tell them how awesome they are, and we let our listeners know and our viewers. Check them out. Don't forget, they have 2 stations now. They have the park music and the movie music. So more listening, more fun, and you choose what they play. So get in touch with them. Let them know what you want to hear, and they'll play it. Tell them you want to hear more Disney Night Live. Tell them that, and that'd be great. And Jay, you say every week, D Magic World?
Every week, we love you guys for listening. Thank you so much for listening. I get the biggest kick on Sundays.
Yeah.
Hearing us in between Disney music, it's like, ooh,
I know.
what the shit.
We
Yeah,
sound
I'm
pretty
gonna tell you-
professional.
We sound
I'm
pretty
going to
good.
tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Mm-mm.
I have some homework to finish, so I'm going to throw on some D-Magic in the background as I'm writing this paper. So think of me,
Sweet.
guys, as I'm doing that.
I actually think of you all the time, which is a little weird. What else do we want to talk about real quick? Oh, we want to talk about us because that's Disney. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and we're now a podcast. Disney Night Live, wherever podcast can be found, downloaded, whatever the hip lingo is.
Anywhere and everywhere. We are streaming, we are popping, downloading, whatever the
We're
kids
trying.
are calling it now.
Yeah. Please share us out. Give us some love, right? Some likes, smash
We
the
sound,
bell.
I've listened to all our shows so
Yeah.
far. We sound pretty good. If I
We do sound pretty good.
say so
Yeah.
myself.
Right. Except for Alan. But we sound great. All right.
No. You know what? I don't sound pretty good. I sound amazing. Thank you.
sound terrific.
Thank you for the compliment. Thank you
You're
for the
welcome.
compliment.
See, so I can't hear you.
Let's move on over to our guest Kevin John, and let's talk with Kevin John about everything that he's doing right now in the world of art and Please also make sure, and we'll keep reminding you throughout the show, follow Kevin John on Instagram at KJ Do Draw. I love that, actually. That's on Instagram, KJ Do Draw. Please make sure you follow Kevin John and check out his work. What's going on, man? Welcome.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Sorry about all that. We have to do that up front.
You got to pay the bills. It makes sense. It makes
exactly.
Sense. It will reflect in my check, I'm sure. So.
Yes, definitely.
Actually, pretty soon we're going to be seeing the KJ logo floating on Disney Night Live. Is what's going to happen.
That would be nice.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Really, we're expanding like crazy, so we've got all kinds of interesting new partnerships, and that really, I mean, to segue to, kind of what the season is right now for us, and that is it. We are just really heavily leaning into collaborations. There are, based on what I've done with Lucasfilm and with Disney and with the NFL and all the other, wonderful companies I've been able to work with, there's been more interest now from companies that need a creative edge, that need something a little bit different than what they've got going. There's social media content that's needed, and visuals and storytelling, and really when it comes down to it, that's what we do. That's what I'm a visual storyteller, and but I also help to not only create the art, but I help to create the promotions and the mechanisms in which to promote your particular business, or the collaboration with Kevin Jobczynski. So not only do you get the art, but you get these really wonderful marketing campaigns that we build as well. And I've been doing that for 35 years now.
Wow.
And so that's really. It was interesting that you mentioned the logo. I mean, that's really what we're doing right now is finding these wonderful collaborations with different organizations and companies around the world who need our help. So.
Right. So and so you're not just because a lot of people watching, tonight, we're a Disney show and we're a Disney group, so they know Kevin John and the Disney artwork and the Lucasfilm. But you're into a lot of different fields or a lot of different entertainment, right? Sports and entertainment. And so like I saw from your site, chocolates, wine, right? Like your artwork is all over the place.
Yeah, we've been really lucky to have some of the opportunities that we do, and we work really hard at this. And
yeah.
I believe it's not just creating the painting itself, but unless it's enjoyed, then it's just sitting in a dark room by itself. And the more exposure to the artwork, the more joy we can bring to people. And story, again, everything goes back to story. So help to tell the stories that we want to tell or our clients want to tell. Disney is one of my favorite projects to work on. Gosh, I think 10 years now since Disney first called. And for those who are not familiar, I'm not on the animation side of things with Disney. Disney really, I think, needed a boost with their fine art program. So they reached out to me 10 years ago, and they didn't have any artists that were creating stylized realism that told the story of the parks themselves and the attractions that we love, the Haunted Mansion, mentioned Tower of Terror and Jungle Cruise and that sort of thing. So that was really kind of how everything kind of got started with my path with Disney. And it was not a difficult jacket to fit into. I've been a huge Disney fan my entire life. Walt Disney, I always say, is a huge career template for me. I love all of his failures. That was always a lesson that I took away from every time I hear a Walt story is, how many times that he fell down, how many times that he failed before Snow White. right?
Right.
So as an artist, you know, you need to find inspiration in you know, various different places, and Walt was a huge inspiration to me. So, you know, taking on the honor of creating art that told the story of his company.
You know, KJ, I people ask me all the time, you know, you love Disney so much, why don't you go work for Disney? And, you know, I tell them, you know, part of the reason is I can't, because you know, part of the magic would be lost with me. So, you know, bring us back to that day a little bit. You know, you get the phone call, you're like, hey, what's up? It's Mickey. You know, I want you to paint me like one of your French girls. You know,
French mice, Alan.
Sorry, excuse me. Yes, French mice. You know, did you immediately say yes? I mean, were you worried? What went through your head?
It's interesting. David and I were talking about that pre-show. It bounced to voicemail. I kept letting it bounce. I wasn't interested at the time. I was heavily invested in the sports art branch of my company that was roaring at the time, and had more work than I could handle. So I had the ability to choose the projects that I wanted to take on. And I didn't know that this component of the company really existed. I thought the offer was that they wanted me to become an employee, that, you know, I was going to be, you know, put into the, you know, animation deck and that sort of thing. And I don't have a background in any of that. As a matter of fact, I didn't even have any Disney anything in my portfolio. Just, you know, what it's IP, and unless you're contracted to create IP, intellectual property, you know, then it's against the law to do it without, right? So, you know, and I've been a professional at that point for 25 years. I wasn't going to, you know, cross any lines. So I really I didn't see the fit. I was, you know, again, heavily focused on sports and stylized realism, and I did not want to draw Mickey Mouse every day for the rest of my life. It just wasn't something I wanted, and I didn't want to ruin the Disney that I knew with a working relationship, with going to work for them. I did that with sports. I love sports. I was an athlete, a coach, and then I worked in sports for a long time, creating portraiture for pro athletes, for their teams, on a global level. ESPN, I had a 5-year contract to create artwork on camera for ESPN. And it got to a point where I no longer could enjoy sports the way that I did before. It was now work. It wasn't part of the release, right? So when Disney called, again, I kind of put it off, and knowing that eventually I was going to have to return the call. And Buffy said to me, why don't you just take the meeting and we'll go into the parks later, you know? I had moved to Florida 6 months before that, right?
Why not?
Right? We had moved to Florida from Pennsylvania for a little while. I wanted to live on the ocean, and I wanted to be close to Disney. So we were an hour and a half away from the parks. So we drove in, and I took the meeting, and I got it immediately. What they were looking for was that representation of the parks. And that was my vibe. I could do. I could get behind. I could see developing a style where we told story about those incredible attractions. So once that settled in, you know, when I walked out of the offices that day, I got to tell you, you know, although it was something that I didn't initially want to go into because I didn't understand the fit, having the opportunity to create art for Walt's company, a dream come true doesn't give it the reality, the impact that it was like nothing else. It really was. I've gotten a couple of call-ups in my time, especially with sports. I've had the opportunity to work, on major stages at Super Bowl and with incredible athletes that I have watched as a kid and respected and along with a lot of the other work that I had done at that time. And this was different. This was almost sacred, right? So I jumped in full out. The first time that I submitted a concept sketch for a project, for a painting that I wanted to do, it was the Hatbox Ghost, and this is 10 years ago. So it was interesting that they didn't know who Hatbox Ghost was. And I said, well, let me tell you the story, because just because they work for Disney doesn't necessarily mean they were Disney aholics.
That's a California thing.
Right?
Right.
And I was deep. I was Haunted Mansion deep. There's not much that I don't know about that attraction, about the history and the creation of the design and the art of the thing, and Rolly Crump and the everything. So I said, Hatbox Ghost is missing. Why don't we create a painting based on that legend? And we really knocked down the door with it. It's not, don't do something safe. I could have done Cinderella Castle. I had carte blanche to do whatever I wanted, and I chose to do this figure that not a lot of people knew about. And it's interesting what has happened with that figure. He's become an icon since then. So I love having my story attached to Hatbox Ghost and to the mansion that way. And then, fast forward to 2019, to the 50th anniversary of the mansion here in California. And I was one of just a very small handful of artists that was asked to create artwork to commemorate that 50th anniversary of the mansion. So that was, I could go on and tell them 1,000 Disney stories. So you guys are seeing some of the other work here.
Yeah, and while you were chatting, Kevin John, I brought it up at your press kit here that you were so nice of you to share with us, so that we could show our audience some of your work. And I see back in, I think it's page. Here we go. Some Tower of Terror artwork here. Let me head back to. So here's the first page, and it kind of gives you the little layout of a little bit of everything that you do. Right, it talks about the Disney and the sports. And were you into Disney? And so you loved Disney before working for Disney? Like, you liked going to the parks, when you were, that's something that you were.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, that's why we had, spent some time in Florida. I wanted to be close to Walt Disney World,
Right.
And I was certainly a fan of the golden age of the animation in the 90s. I mean, we love that, the music. There's just much not to love about it. But I really lived in the parks. I really loved that part of the experience. That was, like so many of us, my original hometown was in Pennsylvania, and snow capital of the world. So to get out of that stuff for a while, and,
get some sun,
right? Get some sun, forget life, and the thing that I love most about the parks is, and it's been said 1,000 times over now, if not more, is that immersion in the removal from reality. And no matter what area of the parks you're in, if you're of a creative mind, you can kind of melt right into the story that's being told there. And to me, that was everything. It was great for great place to get away, take the family or whatever.
Yeah, and as an artist, I mean, what better than Disney, right? Because the storytelling there is so immersive,
Yeah.
right? And everything that you probably bring into your work and the detail, like when you describe something like Tower of Terror, you're not just describing the ride. Like I would be like, oh, the ride was great. You take in all of the immersive details from it, and that's probably another thing that makes you such a great artist. So.
Because I think that's what people love about going to the park so much is the detail that Disney puts in.
Yeah.
As you walk through, we keep talking about Tower of Terror, but it's such a great example. You walk through Tower of Terror and just even the spider webs are beautiful. I know that's weird to describe, but
well, no, we talk about storytelling, and that's an attraction where the storytelling begins before you even get in the park.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Yeah.
It begins when you see it outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, when you get that view, right, walking up and there it is, and it's looming there, and you're kind of like, oh wow.
Yeah, it's interesting now. I've been a Southern California resident for a couple of years now, and it's so very interesting. We'll go to the Roosevelt or drive down Sunset. And there are locations here everywhere that were replicated at studios, right? And, if you walk through the Roosevelt Hotel, I mean, it literally is like being inside the Tower of Terror. There are spot points in that entire place that you can pick out, and if you plug them into the tower, they would look right at home, and vice versa. So it's a really interesting experience being here after spending so much time in the parks there, especially that Hollywood Studios. I mean, the place really is just a small charcuterie board of California, right? And
I like it described like that. Yeah,
right.
Definitely. And I stopped here on this page because it's fitting right now with the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series out on Disney Plus. So I don't know. I know I've been watching it with my wife Kim. I don't know if any of you guys have been watching it. What you think about the series so far? 3 episodes in.
We could do a whole episode about each episode so far.
Yeah, we're going to have to, and I'm going to need a whole episode to talk about.
Yeah.
I need Obi-Wan to kind of step it up here. He's not spoilers?
Yeah.
Does Alan know about Mace Windu coming back?
Alan, you haven't watched it yet?
Not yet. We haven't started it yet. We're still on Boba Fett.
All right, see you later.
Oh,
talking about storytelling, this is
Boba
what I love
Fett.
about your art, KJ, is there no words are needed. There's a whole story just looking at your work.
Thank you. If Disney was the one that I never expected, didn't look for, Lucasfilm was the one that I'd always aspired to, the Star Wars product. I was in 3rd grade when New Hope premiered in '77, and it was all my life was about. Everything that I drew, everything that I played, all the make-believe that I did was just back-to-back Star Wars. And matter of fact, I think there were 2 schools, 2 different, I think a grade school and definitely a high school, that asked me not to return because of my obsession with, you'd laugh, it's honestly true, with my obsession with rendering, and a lot of that rendering was Star Wars stuff. So that was one that, again, that was one that I aspired to, but for me, I always have to make things more difficult on myself. I can't walk into a place with a portfolio and say, I've got this college degree, I've got this art school, so-and-so, and this portfolio that I've built, and so on and so forth. That's not me. Not for the big fish. I want them to come to me. I want to earn it that way.
Yeah.
I have a high school education, so I was never able to flaunt myself as a art school grad or a college grad and have all of this stuff behind me. I literally have taught myself how to do this. Until 5 years ago, I couldn't even really see color. So it was that was the white whale that I didn't chase, that came and chased after me. It was more like a great white shark, really.
Yeah.
I started hearing through the company, through Disney, that they were talking about me at Lucasfilm doing some things for Galaxy's Edge when it opened. That they thought that the style would translate well and I'd be able to tell the story. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm not, let's just wait and sit. And I had a lunch, and the gentleman that was the representative said to me, yeah, we'd love for you to explore this and be kind of the bridge between the two companies at this point. It was still very brand new. And all of the crossover art, the Donald Duck that looked like R2-D2 and all that stuff, that was all nixed. It was taken off the shelves and disallowed once the companies married. So this was, they wanted realism. The paintings needed to look like the character. It needed to look like the worlds that Star Wars lives in. And so I was thrilled to be able to be the artist of their work. The artist at my work greeted all those people when they opened the gates to Galaxy's Edge, both here in California and over in Florida. So those pieces continue to sell there. The originals, I think those sold right away. Did a Vader, did a Thrawn piece. I would just keep reloading. And then from there, Lucasfilm said, well, we've got a bunch of other projects we'd love you to work on. And so that's how that goes. I'll share with you guys some stuff that you guys don't even have there. These pieces just premiered not too long ago. These are actually the originals here. So there's they asked me to do a Hoth series. So here's our Luke Skywalker, right? My ultimate hero. Of course, his compatriot.
Let me see if I can.
Right?
Oh.
Y'all bring the Luke back up. Let me bring the Luke Skywalker back.
Yeah,
up.
please. Sorry, I just got you on the. Wow.
So there's the Luke. And then, of course, this is the one that I've been really dying to do. There's our princess, right? Oops.
How quickly can I buy prints of these for my home?
They are not available in print form. This was for another product, a digital card product. Those originals are the only way that it's available, two-dimensional. And they're actually really inexpensive. Where my work is concerned, these are under $3,000 each for those 3 paintings. So I have not attempted to move them yet, but if anyone is interested, you can own those actual originals.
Like my spouse is watching. We'll be talking after the show.
Yeah, same here, Jay. And I know Kim
but
just
if
said
3
that's
of
my
us
girl.
to split it, that's like 1,000.
You know what? That's true. We each pick one. I want Han.
This is not deal of the
I
week,
call Leia.
guys.
Hey.
What are you gonna do? Keep shipping it to everybody's house and
Sure,
sharing?
we each pick one. I'll get Han.
No.
Yeah, you get Luke, sorry.
Sorry, Lisa. We just
And I left this picture up there too on your press kit here, KJ, because I love Darth Maul, but I know I wanted to keep the Grogu up there too, because I mean I know my wife's in love with Grogu.
You will keep Grogu up there.
Yeah, and so many other. I mean, he's just adorable. Is he fun to draw and to paint Grogu as a character?
Yeah, the IP work is it's super intense because everything has to be in its place, and it just can't look like Grogu. It has to look like Grogu and meet all the dimensionality and everything.
Right.
You don't have to go far to pull up an Instagram and type in Grogu art or Star Wars art and find millions of images out there. However, there are a handful of us who actually have been able to do this for the company and hit all of the marks that it needs to hit. And that's really the difficult part that people don't understand. It can't just look kind of like that character.
Yeah.
There was about a 4-week discussion as to which hand Darth Vader should hold his lightsaber in one of my paintings.
Wow.
So there's so much to consider. That the art really is this final generation of this amazing collaboration of different artists and different talented people that work within the company that have created this figure, and now they give it to us and they say, okay, paint a picture of this, and it has to meet all the specs and everything.
Yeah,
I
like that Grogu and Maul one again.
Yeah, I'll bring that back up. Yep.
Because what I love about this, KJ, is it doesn't just look like the characters; it feels like the characters.
Oh, thank you. It is. It's something that I hope to do with all of my work. To give it that life. That if you stare at the mall in the center there, I want that chill in your soul that character. And these are just sketches. It was a sketchbook series that we had that we did with Lucasfilm. But if you go back to, I think the finest piece of Star Wars art was certainly the Kenobi and the Luke. But if you bring that bring the Mandalorian piece up with Boba Fett on the throne.
Yes, that's pretty much in the beginning here.
Yeah.
Honey, if you're watching, the one they're about to show is the one I want for my wall.
There we go.
This here.
Let me straighten out that page. And I want to remind everybody too that if you're listening, if you catch us on the podcast, we are a live stream show that is really meant for a visual audience, and so I wanted to get us out there as a podcast in hopes to get more people to watch the show. So if you do hear the podcast somewhere and download it, please go and find us on YouTube at Now That's Disney and watch Disney Night Live so you could see this amazing artwork from Kevin John. So right now you might be hearing us, but you want to see this because it's just incredible.
And people are asking about prints. So because I work with Lucasfilm on a bunch of different projects. Not everything goes to print. The originals aren't always even available for sale because oftentimes, George will purchase those or they'll be kept within the company. However, that makes these images. It's why that piece is a $15,000 piece now.
Wow.
It is why the prices are where they are, is because you just can't consume it as a print that everybody can hang on their wall. These are limited pieces done for limited projects that aren't mass produced necessarily, and some like the Hoth pieces that was only available in the digital format. It's hand painted, but it's a digital format that they're available. And then they go away. It's out in the ether. So it makes the value of those originals even more so than normal. So
yeah, and that's a great scene there in Boba Fett.
But there are now for the Disney Parks product. They do sell some of the Star Wars art that I created specifically for Disney Parks, that you can purchase prints in the original and giclées and things like that, exclusive to the Disney Parks.
Gotcha. Lisa, do you have any specific questions for Kevin John? Because you've been awfully quiet tonight.
I know. Well, I know that when we would purchase items for the Indie Disney Meet, we would have some of our folks come to the Festival of the Arts, and you would sign, and then we always were raising money for Give Kids the World, and they were some of our folks' favorite items. Like those are the things that really went up in price.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so I love that you are available at the Festival of the Arts. Do you typically post your, I know this answer, but do you typically post your schedule so that folks can come and get things signed by you when you're there?
I do when we do the park signings, and certainly when I lived in Florida, that was a lot easier to do. I think we did over 100 signing events that last year that I lived in Florida. It was bananas. I was in the parks more than not. It was wonderful, exhausting, but wonderful. And the people that I met, just like you're saying, these are friendships and whatnot that I'll have for a long time. But yes, on my Instagram, it's KJ Do Draw.
Bring that back.
As we do signing events anywhere, whether that's with any of my clients that I work with, they're always posted on the Instagram, on the Facebook. I have a website. I've had a website since the turn of the century that it doesn't seem like people even use websites anymore. So I've been told promote the Instagram.
Right.
Promoting the Instagram.
Yeah.
So
I did.
so-
I
so if you
found the
wanna-
website.
So if you want to tell us, KJ, what do you have coming up? What's in the pipeline?
Right.
Oh wow! So working on a couple. Well, been negotiating with the National Hockey League for about a year, a little more than a year, on a massive project. 32 teams. All 32 teams all create original art for. It's a multi-year contract, so we've been doing that for just negotiating the project and developing some of the concepts for the project for quite a while, and that's about to pop. We got an email not too long ago that they're super close. It's just running through legal one more time. So that's really wonderful. That I am anticipating. We're doing a bunch of private label things with where I license out just regular imagery of Kevin John art. For instance, like these are all original paintings. I've kind of got them here. So this is it's just a little painting that I just did. A vintage Porsche on PCH. Outside of Monterey. So we're pitching this for the Monterey Auto Week, which is a huge event. Of course, you mentioned Kevin John Chocolate. We have a chocolatier that I've worked with, a family-owned business for a long time, that they feature Kevin John art on Kevin John chocolate bars, and those are sold in grocery stores all over the East Coast. What else are we doing? We're diving heavy into the cannabis industry with imagery, like the one behind me here.
I saw you post that on Facebook the other day.
Yes. I'm going to put you back on a solo layout here so we can see a good shot of that.
This is really a dope piece that I did. This is whoops, there we go. I didn't expect the sun to be coming in like this. I love the California golden sun, right?
It's beautiful, yeah. It's dark here where I'm at.
We'll reflect some down for you.
Yeah.
So, this is a little bit of a creation as part of this California series that I'm doing, where I am focusing on all these fantastic locations here in Southern California to tell the story of the culture of Southern Cal. And we're doing that through art, but we're also co-branding with some cannabis companies. We've got a healthy type of a very health conscious power drink, like energy drink, that's going to be using some Zen imagery from me. So we're doing a bunch of that stuff. So again, like I said, a lot of these collaborations. and you might not think that there's a fit. Like it's very interesting. People don't always understand why would Mercedes-Benz be talking to an artist, or an artist want to work with Mercedes-Benz or Porsche, but it's because there's storytelling that needs to be done. There are collectors out there that would like to feature artwork on their walls of the things that they love to collect. And some people don't just collect Disney, some people collect Porsches and Mercedes and that sort of thing. So it's really, we just don't leave any stone unturned where projects are concerned. My team here, I've got a new team here in Southern California, out of Los Angeles, that really helps to put a finer point on negotiating these contracts and digging through the requests that we get and finding the ones that we really want to work with, efforts that we really want to be behind. Lucasfilm and Disney are currently, I don't have any projects on my board right now that are those. I take that back. I'm doing a little commissioned piece of Kylo Ren. So other than that, it's just full speed ahead on some of this other stuff. And I'm only one person, so I not only have to do the labor itself, but I've got to do the creative end. I'm the one that does all the creative pitches. So I say to my reps and my agency, just get me in the room and let me solve the problems. We met with a Fortune 500 company. They own fresh markets. I don't remember the number. They own a lot of fresh food markets, and they install these beautiful new coffee machines that are all electronic, and that grinds the coffee beans right there in these machines. Are $10,000 per machine, and each location has 10 of these new machines. But people don't want to use them because they like to take the old coffee pot out and pour it and have that cup. And this is a completely different type of a system. This is these fresh ground beans where this coffee, when you drink it, I mean, it's like nothing you've ever tasted. It just goes through your nose, and oh my God, it's just fantastic what these fresh ground beans do. But they were just giving me a tour of the stores for another project, telling me about this problem. I went back to my hotel room that night and I could not sleep. I grabbed paper and pen and old coffee cups that I had laying around, and I'm illustrating on them. And the next morning I walk back in and I sit down and I said, well, I've solved your problem. And I pitched this concept to them, which I had nothing to do with. This was just in passing. They were explaining this to me, and it's probably going to be a $300,000 project when it all is said and done for me, for Kevin John Studios, to create this problem-solving imagery and other things that we've got going for them. So you just never know where we're going to be able to add a little bit of that magic and change the direction of a company or organization that needs help with branding. Everybody talks about branding now, and it's funny if you go back to the Kevin John MySpace page from 2003 or whatever the hell that was, or go back at any of the stuff that we did even in the 90s. We always said that this was branding. Kevin John has always been treated as a brand rather than a person or just as an artist. We've always had that. The concepts that are being talked about and used now all the time are things that we've been doing for 35 years. I started when I was 17 years old, selling art when I was in high school professionally. So this is just part of who I am.
It's just something that you knew that you were good at, right? I mean, like at an early age, you had to know that you're like, okay, I mean, I could do something that's better than like when somebody draws or paints something, and it comes out like your kid, and it's like, oh, okay, that's really nice. Right. Yeah, you're like, I have a talent here, and so you pursued that. But like, was there any point in your life where somebody said like you're wasting your time, and that kind of made you drive even further? Like, what I mean? Like it pushed you harder?
how about earlier this afternoon, right? It's funny. I meet people and you know, you just meet them in passing, and they go, "Oh, so what do you do for a living?" "Oh, I'm an engineer over here at the, naval base or whatever." "And what do you do?" I'm an artist." And they go, "Oh,
right, like,
nice."
yeah.
So no, but what do you do for your job? It literally pretty much everyone that I ever knew growing up told me that this was a folly. When I started creating art professionally when I was 17, they told me that this would be a failure and a disaster, that I should go to school and learn a trade and, get a regular job. And I knew a couple of different things. I saw someone in my father that had incredible talent for music, but I don't know, for whatever reason, he got scared or whatever. When we were super, super, super young, very, very young kids, my dad stopped doing music professionally and just followed the path of the regular job. And my mom never had a talent per se. She always had a regular job.
Right.
And I saw these two people come home every day, beaten up, miserable, my dad would get sick to his stomach on Sunday nights, knowing he had to go to the office the next day. And I saw that my entire life, growing up. And I said, that I don't care what I do. I'll live in a box on the beach, but I am not going to be that. I am not going to feel as though I have to drag my corpse into an office every day and do this. I'll starve, but at least I'll starve doing what I was put on the planet to do.
Right, on your own terms.
Right, and then reality hits, and you're not 17 now, you're 18, and you're out on your own. And because I decided to do what I wanted to do this for a living, many people turned their backs on me, and again, it was a folly. It was something that was lampooned and laughed at. And 10 years later, I'm being featured on ESPN globally around the world. People are watching me create my little crayon drawings, right? So it's a constant progression. It is a constant surge to be better. I can't even look at the artwork that I did 5 years ago, 3 years ago, because it's not, Kevin John does not have a style. If you look at some of my favorite compatriots that create art for Disney, like Shag, if you've seen one piece of Shag's work, you've seen them all. You know exactly what they are from 100 feet away, and he's been incredibly successful. However, Shag needs to create that same art every day.
Right.
That's what they expect. Every piece of Kevin John art looks different from the last. My style has changed drastically over the last 35 years. And it's because I think what I like to say now is that I create the right piece of art for the right reason, for the right project at the right time. I just happen to be the right artist at that time for that. So it's a constant improving on my sales skills, on my creativity in terms of coming up with the promotions and the ways to create the product, promote the product, sell the product, how to help these other companies achieve their dreams. It has been a slow progression of sacrifice more than anything. I don't have a family, I don't have children. I have sacrificed my entire life to be able to do this at this level, because that's what it takes. At least for me, I'm not a wildly talented artist. I'm not. There are men and women out there, boys and girls, that are wildly more talented than I in terms of the actual physical art. But it takes more than just that to make you a success in the world, whether you're doing art or whatever. You just can't be just one thing. You have to. Yeah, I always say there's there's many arrows in my quiver. You know, if you think about drawing a bow and arrow, you got to as many arrows as you can keep in that quiver. So those all help to push this thing forward and to get me in the rooms that I want to be in, to be able to be on the projects that I want to be on. So
that's something I really appreciate about your art is I like the diversity in style. I like the art, how seeing the art change.
Thank you. It's something that I'll be honest with you, Alan, I've struggled with. Or I'm sorry, Skipper Jay, that I've struggled with for a long time. Because there's always that push to have a style, and it never felt like skin to me. Every time that I would get a certain style, for instance, my next Disney piece will look completely different from any of the Disney pieces that I did before. It's wildly different because there's a continued evolution in my walk as an artist. So hearing you say that means a lot to me because, if there's one thing artists are, we're terribly self-conscious, like we don't have a lot of confidence where our work is concerned. I know when I walk into a room to do a pitch, I know that I brought my best stuff that day and I feel good about that. But at night, when I'm sitting here looking at a painting that I've been working on all day, I'll just say to myself, what the hell have you done? I literally, honest to God, Buffy will tell you, one of the things that I love to do is after I'm done working here in the studio all day, we'll take the work outside and set it out, out in the veranda, or I'll take it into the living room and set it down next to the television as we're watching TV. And I stare at this thing, I stare at it, look at it, turn it upside down, look at it upside down, make sure the angles are right. And I'm going, what did you just spend the last 12 freaking hours doing? This is, pardon my language.
That's okay.
Pete, sorry guys.
That's all right.
I'm passionate about this, right?
It's usually Alan.
And you can easily beat that. Don't worry about it.
And then I'll go upstairs, go to bed, come down in the morning, and I'll catch the teeth. Right?
That's Alan.
I did not use that word.
I may have gotten a little bit in trouble, Kevin John. They may not be lying.
You know what? That's all right.
It's all good.
We'll do our own. We'll do our own after.
After now that's Disney After Dark.
Complete, right?
No, but you're very passionate about it. I mean, but you're hard on yourself, but you're your own worst critic.
Yeah. And then and then I'll view the thing the next morning, and I'll be like, oh my God, that's really, I see. Okay, that doesn't look bad at all,
Right.
But it's just I look at it now as just this beautiful curse. It's just a beautiful curse that I'm grateful for,
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the best artists, their styles evolve, they change,
Right.
crossover.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so you have to challenge yourself sometimes too. Like you could be at a job, like you said, for a very long time, and you have a chance to switch, and it's the fear of change. But sometimes you've got to challenge yourself and change.
Every day.
Every day. Like I know what drives me. Like in my job, like I have OCD and I have anxiety, and I'm super organized because I never want to be in that position where I can't answer a question because that scares me. So. I get where you're coming from with that. You go after yourself as hard as you can to put yourself in the position that you want to be in.
Thank you. You have to be. I don't care what you do in life, but especially if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be absolutely fearless, and you have to be willing to push it all into the table and risk everything every time.
Right.
Every time. When we left Pennsylvania, I left my house to my ex. I literally loaded a couple things into a truck and went on my way. I left the town that I grew up in. I left my everything because I knew that I had gone as far as I could working out of here in Pennsylvania. And again, kind of, we took this this leap to California. You know, I had kind of a really sweet thing going with Disney. When I lived in Florida, I was an hour and a half away from the parks. As I said, I could do signings all the time, and do the arts festivals as much as I wanted to, create as much Disney art as they would take. I mean, they would just, as much as I would produce, they would take. And I said, you know, going to California is where I need to be. First of all, it's my people. In my soul, I feel better here.
Right.
But, you know, I'm working more and more and more in the entertainment industry, and I need to be near Los Angeles where I can be in a meeting in an hour if I need to. So it was a huge jump to consider moving from there, leaving that sweet little deal we had over there, and coming here and not being able to do that as often anymore. Not, you know, just saying goodbye to some of the comfort that we had built in Florida. And this has been the best decision of my life, you know. But it is a complete wholesale on taking a chance. You have to risk everything every time, because if it's not worth risking, then it's not worth having to work towards anyway, right? Yeah, right. And you guys, what you all do is your own art form here. You know, David and I were talking about that a little bit earlier, the evolution of not only social media, but the evolution of the Disney community and the vlogs, and, you know, the John Pandas who have been around for a long time, and then the Mangellos who have been around even longer. I mean, I remember buying an iPod and pulling up Lou Mangello's podcast. I mean, I would go to the gym and people would say, "Oh, what are you listening to?" I'm listening to a podcast. What the hell is a podcast?
Yeah, really.
We're talking 20 minutes. So it's lovely to see the evolution of what you guys do and the sculpting that you all do with this art form, and it's beautiful to see.
Thank you.
I love to. It's why I just love to, you know, be a part of it like this and be able to talk to creative people like yourselves. It energizes me and gives me all kinds of juice to move forward.
And we're showing. Is it, Jay? Is this yours?
This is in my house. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So this is from the after hours thing at the Tower.
Bottom one's from a party. You did that for us. But the one above it is something I stare at every day. I get lost looking at this painting.
Thank you.
It's my favorite thing that hangs out, and I had to put them together, but that top one is my favorite thing in my office.
Thank you. That Tower of Terror piece was my first exploration into temperature changing. So if you are familiar enough with the tower, there's all that warm terracotta and warm stucco along the wall, along the water leading up, and that transitions. Then you see all of the sun hitting in its warm from the foundation up on the actual tower itself. However, if you get there at the right time of the evening, which is what we've pictured here, and you walk through those gates and you walk up through that garden, there is a temperature movement there. It cools off. There's oftentimes a mist there. You're now in the shadow of the mountain or of the tower, and looking up at this thing. So what I did was I went from warm colors in the foreground, the pumpkins, the pumpkin lighting, and then as I take you into the garden area, you'll see that the colors change to cool colors. There's greens and blues in there. So I wanted you to kind of bathe in that coolness of that vegetation as you walked up towards the tower. What I wanted to depict here is give you, the viewer, the opportunity to know what it felt like on Halloween night, 1939, when you are making your way up that path to go to that masquerade ball that ends with a calamity, right? And so that's kind of the storytelling that's going on with that piece. Some wet pavement, you know, the reflection of the lighted jack-o'-lanterns on the pavement there. But that was my first real exploration into that.
I love these two together because what you just said, it takes me right to the beginning of that story.
Thank you. As we talked before, I love the Tower of Terror film. That was the Disney Channel film. Fantastic, and I just imagining yourself at that masquerade ball, you know, and I'm glad that you love that piece because they both mean a lot to me.
That story's there, yeah. I mean, and you describe it so well. And I mean, I know Jay loves Tower of Terror. It's like that's your favorite attraction.
Oh yeah,
right. And yeah, and I know why that piece is important to you. And I know Alan behind him has Who Married Poppins, right? There she is. Yeah,
that's a beautiful. And actually, you were mentioning on Facebook that there's a matching Bert piece. So I got this. I got this for my birthday as a gift from a dear friend of mine. I'm bad at this point. So I didn't even know much about it until she gave it to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. I fell in love with it because Mary is just my absolute favorite character of all time. Where's the camera?
Oh, there it is. There we go. All right.
Where? Oh, there's Mary.
There she is.
Yeah, right here. And then the penguin.
I thought that was your favorite character.
No, sorry. It's Mary's number one, and then Dave Pachano is number two.
Now that I've seen your sleeve, I am really questioning our trip to Disney World together.
Oh. What, you don't do sleeves?
We'll talk about that later.
I have my Disney parks going down my leg, though. Which I might need to add some of that like Haunted Mansion wallpaper because my leg is very wallpaper.
Add something Tower of Terror and
and then you can go.
But Kevin John, you were mentioning there's a Bert. Tell me about this.
Yeah. So Dick Van Dyke and his folks reached out to us. They were holding a giant, big benefit out here in Southern Cal for I think it was for Walt's house.
Oh, I remember this, yes, because that's in Chicago where I am, actually.
Okay. So they reached out and they wanted to know if I would create a special portrait of Dick Van Dyke as Bert. It would be a super limited piece. I think there were 40, maybe 45 lithographs signed and numbered of each of those. Those immediately sold out at the event. The original was autographed by Dick and auctioned off. Dick sent me one of my own lithographs that he had signed for me. So that was pretty much that was pretty much awesome, right? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
John, we're gonna be friends. Don't worry.
So that was pretty much the most awesome thing. And then the same organization came back to me, and the collectors that had purchased the Bert piece wanted a companion Mary, and so we did a painting that matched it. It was the same edition. I was curious as to what number you have, because I don't know how you got that.
So I have no idea. Actually, I got it framed just like that. So it came.
So there should be everything. There should be a hand signature and a number at the bottom that's like 3 of 41 or 3 of 42 or I think there were 45 of those as well. If I'm remembering this correct, because the only way that you could purchase that is if you had already went in on the Bert piece. So So somewhere out there is a Bert without a companion, which you need to track down.
I'm very jealous now. I know
you have to find the matching piece.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, 9.
Holy cow! 9 of what? Were there 40?
100.
100. Oh wow, that was a big.
I
addition.
did not even know. I was going to ask you if I can send this to you so you could sign it for me, but never mind because you signed it for me.
Yeah, they're all. Signed. Yeah.
I've owned this for years and I never knew this was signed.
Put it back in its frame, man. Keep it safe.
Alan, come on.
Why are you touching it? At least you're eating cookies.
Thank God he's not right. Thank God, because last week or the week before, he's eating Gideon's cookies and cake on air. And thank God, because we don't need peanut butter and chocolate all over that.
No, but now I really need to find this Bert that goes with this Mary. There one day you will see Bert over here somewhere.
That's wonderful. That would be wonderful. I see Mary.
Mary says
she passed them as well. Yeah, it was a limited. So I'm surprised that because they sold out so quickly. It was like within minutes. I'm surprised how large the edition was. That there were 100 of them. I thought it was a much smaller edition. But I mean, in the world of Disney, 100 pieces is nothing. That's a super limited amount.
Yeah, especially how many Disney fanatics are out there, that
and I am in the top 10.
Like that.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, that's huge.
Alan, what's your address?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it might be number 9 out of 100, but you're number 1 in our hearts, Alan.
Oh,
he's number 2.
He's number 2.
It's always going to be a number 2.
Okay. The frame is sealed again.
Thank goodness.
I don't think it will be opened ever again.
No.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank goodness.
Thank you.
More questions. I know I ramble on a lot.
No, that's fine. I actually had. So you talk about that you work in the sports field, but before that you're a fan of sports. So do you have favorite teams still that you root for, or is that something that's kind of
I'm passionate about Coach Belichick in the New England Patriots. Yeah. I look at a lot of different places for inspiration and education. And I have been watching Bill Belichick coach football since the 90s, and I've been watching him build this team, the Patriots, since I think 2000 is when he got his contract. And the way that he takes on the challenges every week of a different team and year to year, and now especially post Brady,
right,
having this opportunity to now I'm an artist, so now I'm going to paint with my left hand instead of my right, because it's now he no longer has Tom, and can he do it without Tom? And I think he's proven that the program is the program. It is excellent.
Right.
So I love learning from Coach Belichick. Love the Patriots. As far as other sports, I really don't consume a lot of other sports from a fan standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm not
back, guys.
Don't drop it.
When I'm not working, I'm not unless it's football season. We're not doing a lot of other things that are related to work. So I don't follow a lot of other sports.
Okay.
Raiders fan.
Yeah. Hey, Disney World Gold, what's going on?
I know.
Right now, the NHL playoffs are going on, and we live in New Jersey, so I'm not a Rangers fan, but the Rangers are pretty deep in the playoffs right now, and they're up 2-0 against the Hurricanes, which is kind of a shocker. I've been rooting for them just because it's exciting. Like my wife last night is like, "You've got hockey on?" I'm like, "This is the Rangers are on. It's so exciting right now." So, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy sports. I can watch any sport at any time, but because I work with so many different teams in different leagues, and I have no that gentleman or person, woman, either or, I don't know. I didn't say.
Oh, Disney World Gold, yes, on YouTube.
That person said something about the Raiders. I mean, I love the Raiders. love the Raiders. Fred Biletnikoff is from my hometown. Love the
Yes.
Raiders. Marcus Allen. I mean, for God's sakes. So there are players that I've worked with all these different organizations. So it's really tough to just be a fan of just one.
Hey, Stan. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just, for me, I mean, being a local, obviously I'm a Yankees fan. That's my number one. I'm actually a Washington Commanders fan, which when I was younger, I just became a fan of the Redskins, and now it's the Commanders, and I've stuck with it. And Knicks, and I do like the Chicago Blackhawks. And I think it was because the emblem had a lot to, like, it kind of resembled the Redskins when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, I like that. And then I became a Blackhawks fan. So, but yeah.
Sports ball.
I dig it.
Sports, yeah. Jay is not a fan of sports, but yeah,
That's
Yankees number
net,
one
right?
for me in my
Nothing
house.
but
But yeah. Hey, Stan.
Hi, Stan. Love Stan Solo.
Yes.
We all do.
Yeah,
Yes.
my dude.
So Skipper Jay does Grand Circle Tour with Stan Solo and others. Yeah, so they do that show as well. What else did I want? I don't know if you guys have any questions for Kevin John. I know that.
Well, I know Star Wars. You do dabble a little bit in everything. Is there a particular timeline period that you like in particular, or because you were telling us yourself you're a fan, you grew up as a fan, so when you do the work, is there a period that you like to work on?
Absolutely. It's New Hope.
That's a good question.
Yeah, New Hope, Empire, New Hope and Empire in that order, which is why when it's wonderful when Lucasfilm came to me and they said, okay, for your first rollout of the one that wasn't Galaxy's Edge, carte blanche, what do you want to do? I said, I've got to do the Cantina. I said, as a third grader in '77, when New Hope first came out, my uncle took us to see the movie, and you're not believing your eyes to begin with because you've not seen anything like any of this. And so after you settle down and you okay, there's the stormtroopers, and you don't know what the names are. The guy I know, and holy crap! And then things settle down a little bit. You get to catch your breath, and they walk you into the cantina. And at the first, George used that glossened lens, where much like the sunlight here, as the sun would come in, it would glow off of the characters, and the that glossened lens just added a little bit of fantasy to the thing that made it actually more believable than it looked to your 10-year-old or 8-year-old eyes. So for my first big Star Wars project, that I was able to choose what subject I wanted to walk people through the cantina. I wanted to introduce them to that galaxy that the way that we were introduced in '77. And then the follow-up to that in a major way, the next favorite of mine is that Hoth series, because I just people now don't understand what it was like to anticipate Empire Strikes Back.
No,
we saw an image or two, and that was it. I had collected a plastic 3.5-inch of this character named Bosk through the mail that I had no idea what this guy even did. Bounty hunter. I don't know what a bounty hunter is, but apparently this is one of the new characters for this movie, and it's the reveal of looking down on that ice planet and watching that Tauntaun stride across the ice. It lives with me today as it did then. That's my Star Wars right there. That's where the love begins. That's where it always stays. And of course, I love all the other derivatives from that.
Right.
But when you say, give me the juice, that one, you got one movie to watch for the rest of your life from the Star Wars universe. What is it? It's probably Empire. Yeah. Nudging New Hope by just a smidge. Yeah.
Dave, I gotta ask you, because we're the same age. I'm with him. My sweet spot is that gold. It's that golden age between 4 and 5.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I was 5 when my dad took my brother and I to go see New Hope. And I'll never forget going into the movie theater and the poster. The big cardboard cutout, and there's droids and there's people you don't know who they are yet, but you're going to learn the story and then you get into it, right? Yeah, it's just like
ripped Luke Skywalker with that farm boy costume.
Yeah,
ripped abs. Leia, right, with the leg and
with the leg, right.
Just fantastic visualization,
right?
Storytelling. George is so incredibly talented, such a visionary, but it all had to work. All points had to hit at the same time. All pistons had to fire, and it was the art combined with the story, combined with the lenses that he chose, combined with the toys, combined with the place in the world that we were right then. It would not. New Hope would not. It would fall on its face today. People would be walking out of the theater when it's like, okay, it's 20 minutes of this kid that lives in a desert,
right?
With
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What's going on, right? But he had to bring us in, and
it's so many cynical films at that time, so many dark films, and to have something so upbeat and just something everybody can see for a change.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I loved it. I know I did as a kid, and my wife too. She grew up with Star Wars. She's got a brother my age, and absolutely loves it. And now it's like the newer characters are so cool too. Like she's got a crush on Kylo Ren, and I just think he's totally badass. I love Kylo Ren, I really do. I think that character's done well, and I think it's done so much better than like the Anakin with Hayden Christensen, where it was kind of too pouty. The Kylo Ren he's like got this mystique about him, and I really enjoy the way he does that character.
Dave, we're gonna have a chat after school.
I know. I just couldn't stand those 3 movies. I don't know.
And everyone all of a sudden is a Star Wars fan.
Right. Well, now, yeah.
There are people that I took beatings from when I was in 3rd grade because I went to this weird space movie and stole my mother's broom handle and painted it blue with a black right there at the school.
Yeah.
Right? I took beatings from kids and because I was some sort of geek, that liked this weird stuff. Darn it! Yeah. Oh my goodness.
D Magic World's got a lot of bleeping out to do.
Watch. That's the bits they keep. That'd be hilarious.
Disney World Gold says Kylo is an emo crybaby in their opinion. That's funny.
And now I see these same characters, these same guys on Facebook. Of course, now they're former classmates, and they want to be friends on Facebook.
Right.
And they're like putting their kids in all the Star Wars stuff. I bought this Kevin John Star Wars art at the park. And I'm like, dude, do you not remember like smashing my face into my lunch?
Like making fun of me, right? Over it.
Right. Yeah. So I love how if you weren't down with New Hope in 77, I don't have time for you.
Right.
I don't have time for you.
Yeah, and now with all this, the Disney Plus, the Book of Boba Fett, the Mandalorian, we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like they're just so well done, and the backstories. And I think it's grown the fandom even further.
Yeah, and in all seriousness, I mean, I love the expansion.
Yeah,
we're finally getting. You know, we're getting those stories that we. Again, we had one story to go by, you know, but all these little plastic figurines to play with, and all the stories that we would make up with what Obi-Wan did before, and we're being able to enjoy this now, and it's just it's really delicious.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it is. It seriously is.
Next generations are loving Star Wars now. Like, you know, my kids, like they had to go back. Was this when you were a kid? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you had toys when you were a kid?
Yeah. Yes, it was when I was a kid.
Right, exactly. Oh, Star Wars was out when you were little?
Yeah. You know, that's what I love about, you know, being at this age in my life. It's like 4 decades between being a little boy and being a middle-aged man. As a grown-up, I'm playing with Star Wars again like I did as a child.
Right.
There's something so satisfying about that.
Yeah, and this is on my desk. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's okay. It's all right to have a little plastic Millennium Falcon on your desk in your office in corporate America.
Yeah,
I love that.
Right.
Right.
A few years ago, that wasn't really the case.
No, it wasn't. Like you said, yeah. You know, I saw somebody posted on Facebook the other day, and they said, all you made fun of Pee Wee Herman back in the day. Now you're sending your kids dressed as, you know, to the prom dressed like him, because the style of suits are the great Pee Wee Herman. So it's funny how things like, you know, yeah, like time changes, and like what wasn't cool is cool. Like, you know, so yeah, same thing with Star Wars. If you had something on your desk years ago, somebody would probably make fun of you. But
right. So true.
Now it engages discussion. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And it's cool to be a geek. It's cool to be, you know, to let that out now. And, you know, we have Sam on from Sam's Disney Diary and Womp Rat Radio, right? And Stan does the show with them, and Jimmy Horn. And, you know, they really go into the deepness of like Star Wars and the timeline. So, man, this has been a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, I could do this all night.
Yes. Kevin, will you come back? Because I feel we just need to keep this conversation going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to have you back again. Yeah.
We'd love to.
Yeah, please. I'm going to bring up your Instagram. What did I do? Oh, here we go.
Oh, we keep hitting the same button at the same time.
Yeah, sorry.
It's hilarious.
There you go. I know. Our timing is like impeccable. Please follow Kevin John on Instagram at KJ Dewdraw.
On my way.
Yeah, he does have a website out there. I found it. It's not hard to find if you just search his name. But KJ Dewdraw on Instagram. We want to make sure we mention real quick again, get in touch with Scott at dvc-rental.com for the deal of the week, which was an Animal Kingdom Kidani Village.
It's an amazing deal of the week.
Yeah,
wow.
It was. Don't forget.
And I will be there that week.
Right. Oh, and you're going to give an autograph something.
Right?
Now
he's sell it.
Yes.
Thanks, Alan.
Yeah. Alan will hand deliver Gideon's cookies and cake to your room.
It will be almost as valuable as that KJ painting from earlier he was showing us.
Almost, right?
Almost.
Yeah. So not 9 out of 100. It'll be 1 out of 1.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What else? I want to mention us, because we're all over the place. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The group is Now That's Disney. The show is Disney Night Live. Again, we're available as a podcast, but I really want to draw you into the live show or the replay on YouTube. And we want you to go check out Kevin John and his artwork and his Instagram, and get to know him if you don't. I know my wife had asked a while ago, do you think you'll be back at like the Festival of Arts eventually? Is that something?
Yeah, I certainly see that coming around again.
Okay.
I'm not so sure if it's going to happen this coming, and only because I know that we got an email that you have to. We literally start planning that artwork almost as the old festival is done.
Oh, okay.
In weeks of that, we start planning the new releases for the next festival, and I am booked.
Yeah.
So I could not create anything for this upcoming festival. So I do apologize for that. But I do want to I do certainly want to do that again. We'll do signings here at Disneyland as well.
Okay.
As we've done before. And I always like to say that you know, if you've got a company or an organization or anything relative to that needs some help in the creative space, you know, you may not be able to see what the fit might be, but I'm telling you, that's usually the room. Every room that I walk into to pitch creative, they rarely expect to hear what the synergy is, right? But I have a unique way of finding that and then solving your problems. So you know, you can always reach out to me through Instagram, and you know, go through the DMs or whatever through Instagram, and either myself or someone from my team will get back to you, and we can start the process of working towards something wonderful. So,
nice.
I have really appreciated this time with you guys.
Thank you.
And we will do this again for sure.
Yeah, and I want to thank Scott Dieter, who we met at Disney a couple trips ago, and he had said he you know, he knows you and he'll reach out and see if he can get you on. So I know he's not watching. He works on Saturdays, but I do know that one day he promised him and the Tiki Man will come on here and we'll do like a Tiki themed show and make some Tiki themed drinks. So thank you, Scott Dieter, you know, for at least getting in touch with Kevin John and so we can have him on tonight. Yeah, he was a lot of fun. We met him and we're friends on Facebook, and so yeah, thank you.
Can we start the Tiki drinks next week?
We could start. I mean, as soon as I'm feeling better.
I'm making it a weekly thing.
Yeah.
Just be at the Tiki bar. Now that's Disney Tiki bar every week.
Yeah. As soon as my taste and smell comes back from this COVID, then I can start to enjoy Tiki drinks again.
I'm going to enjoy a Tiki drink in about 10 minutes. So
good for you. I'm so happy for you. I'm going to take NyQuil and go to bed. KJ, don't go anywhere. It is the equivalent. Don't go anywhere, KJ. After the credits and stuff, we end the show. We'll just chat for a few minutes. I know a lot of guests have disappeared, but so thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. I just want to remind you that you know, again, we really appreciate everything that you guys do, and everyone, all of our viewers and our group members, and we love you. So tune back in next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern for a new show. And Jay, if you wouldn't mind taking us out with our end
credits. Right here, and as every week I have to say, Alan smells.
Alan smells.
Please exit to your left by stepping away from the cars with your left foot first. Step out and stand on the moving platform, please.
Please exit by stepping away from the cars with your left foot first. Step out and stand on the moving platform, please.